Helmets crack against one another. Bodies slam into tackling dummies. The rhythmic thud of cleats on turf fills the air at Redwood State University's practice field. Again, harder this time. My grandmother hits with more conviction. Coach Reynolds paces the sideline, whistle dangling from his neck, clipboard clutched in his meaty hand. Trevor Walsh, quarterback and golden boy, strips off his helmet. Sweat glistens on his perfect jawline. His practice jersey, number 7, clings to his muscled frame. "New meet at 2 o'clock, he says to his teammate. Brody Miller, linebacker built like a brick wall, follows Trevor's gaze to the edge of the field where Alejandro Alex Ramirez stands. Lean, coiled muscle, watchful eyes. He remains perfectly still, assessing the practice with cold calculation. "Transfer? Mid-season?" Brody questions. Coach mentions some walk-on from Texas. Trevor's voice drips with disdain. "Ramirez, gear up. Let's see what you've got," Coach Reynolds calls out. Alex nods once, moves toward the locker room. His gait is measured, precise. Fresh blood for Hell Week, Trevor smirks. The practice continues with Alex running routes with machine-like precision. He tackles with controlled violence, never wasting motion. His hands work like vices, catching everything thrown his way. The team watches, some impressed, others threatened. "He's good. Too good," Brody mutters to Trevor. "Nobody walks on mid-season and shows up the starters," Trevor responds, eyes narrowing. After practice, players stream toward the locker room. Alex moves at his own pace, unhurried. Trevor deliberately bumps into him, shoulder checking him hard. "Watch. Where you're walking. New guy?" Alex barely moves from the impact. He turns slowly, eyes meeting Trevor's. For a brief moment, something dark flashes across his face. Not anger, something colder, more calculated. Then it's gone, replaced by a neutral expression. "My mistake," Alex says quietly, accent barely detectable. His voice is soft, but somehow fills the space between them. Trevor blinks, momentarily thrown by the lack of fear or submission. Then he scoffs and walks away, calling over his shoulder, "Tomorrow's going to be a rough day for you, Texas." Alex watches him go, still as a predator. His eyes never leave Trevor's back until he disappears into the locker room. The next morning, Alex opens his locker to find it empty. His gear is gone. Water drips from the metal interior, his cleats floating in a puddle at the bottom. Quiet. Laughter ripples through the locker room. "Someone must have thought your stuff needed washing," Trevor calls out from across the room, high-fiving Brody. Alex says nothing. He simply stares at the empty locker, then methodically begins wiping it dry with paper towels. His movements are economical, unhurried. His face reveals nothing. "Yo, new guy doesn't talk much," one player says. "Maybe he doesn't speak English." Another jokes. Chris Martinez, the team's kicker, watches from a few lockers down. "Leave him alone, guys. He didn't do anything to you." "Not yet," Trevor says. "But we've got traditions here. Gotta earn your place." After a punishing practice where Coach Reynolds pairs Alex with the toughest defensive line players, the hazing intensifies. In the showers, Trevor, Brody, and 3 other players surround Alex, blocking all exits. "Time for your real initiation, Texas," Trevor says, towering over Alex. Alex stands under the shower spray, unmoving. Water cascades down his lean, scarred body. The scars tell stories. One across his ribs, another on his shoulder. Not football injuries. "Nice scars," Brody taunts. "What happened? Daddy beat you?" Alex's eyes flick to Brody, then back to Trevor. He says nothing. "I asked you a question." Brody steps closer, invading Alex's space. "Nothing worth discussing." Alex finally speaks, his voice quiet but firm. Trevor slams his hand against the tile next to Alex's head. "When we ask questions, you answer." Alex doesn't flinch, doesn't blink. His eyes, dark and unreadable, stay fixed on Trevor's. The silence stretches, uncomfortable. Chris watches from the edge of the shower room. Guys, come on, this is stupid. Shut up, Martinez, Trevor snaps without looking away from Alex. Later, Chris catches up with Alex in the parking lot. Hey, sorry about those guys. They're assholes to every newcomer. Alex nods once. Not the first assholes I've met. Something's off about that guy, Chris tells his girlfriend later that night at a house party. The way he handled those guys, it was like he wasn't even scared. Across the room, Trevor and Brody watch as Alex enters the party, standing quietly at the edge of the crowd. Time for phase 2. Trevor grins, filling a red cup with beer. He crosses the room, Brody following close behind. Welcome to the party, Texas, Trevor calls out, then, accidentally, spills his entire cup of beer over Alex's shirt. The room goes quiet, waiting for Alex's reaction. A few nervous laughs break the silence. Alex looks down at his soaked shirt. Then, slowly, methodically, he looks up at Trevor and smiles. Not a friendly smile. Not embarrassed or angry. Just cold. Calculating. The smile of someone making a decision. 2 nights later. Campus is quiet. Midnight approaches as Alex exits the athletic center, gym bag slung over his shoulder. The parking lot is nearly empty. His footsteps echo against the asphalt. A truck engine roars to life. Headlights flash on, momentarily blinding Alex. The vehicle speeds toward him, skidding to a stop just feet away. Trevor jumps out of the driver's side. Brody and 2 other players emerge from the shadows nearby. You think you can just walk onto our team? Trevor's voice is slurred, angry. Think you're better than us? Alex sets down his gym bag carefully. His posture shifts subtly. Weight balanced, hands loose at his sides. I'm just here to play football, he says quietly. Bullshit. You've been watching us, judging us. Trevor steps closer. Time you learned your place. Alex remains still. You don't want to do this? Oh, I really do. Trevor swings first, a wild, drunken punch. Alex sidesteps easily, but Brody catches him from behind, wrestling him to the ground. The other 2 players join in, holding Alex's arms while Trevor stands over him. Not so tough now, huh? Trevor delivers a kick to Alex's ribs. Alex takes the hit without a sound. Another kick, another. He could fight back, his muscles tense with controlled power, but he doesn't. He simply watches them, cataloging each blow, each face. Blood trickles from his split lip. Through it, impossibly, he smiles. The fuck you smiling at? Trevor demands, unsettled. You, Alex says simply, making a mistake. The only mistake was letting you on the team. Trevor spits on the ground next to Alex's head. They leave him there, high-fiving as they climb back into the truck and speed away. Alex rises slowly to his feet. He wipes the blood from his mouth with the back of his hand, looking at it thoughtfully. Then he retrieves his phone from his pocket. The screen is cracked but functional. He dials a number, speaks briefly in rapid Spanish. His voice is different now. Commanding. Cold. 3 hours later, Trevor stumbles out of a house party. The night air's chilly. He fumbles with his keys, finally unlocking his car. A brand new Mustang, graduation gift from his father. As he reaches for the door handle, he stops. Something's not right. The interior dome light isn't on. He peers through the window, then staggers back in shock. The inside of his car is drenched in gasoline. On the driver's seat sits a small wooden box. Carved into its lid is a scorpion, the emblem of the Escorpius Threne Cartel, though Trevor doesn't recognize this. A match strikes behind him. Trevor whirls around but sees nothing, just an orange glow arcing through the air. The match lands on the hood, igniting instantly. Flames race across the surface of the car, finding the trail of gasoline that leads inside. The Mustang erupts in a fireball, the heat driving Trevor to his knees. As he watches his car burn, his phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Consider this your only warning. The next morning, Trevor paces outside the campus security office. His father stands nearby, red-faced, berating the security chief. $30,000 up in flames. This is criminal. I want the perpetrator. Found and expelled. We're reviewing the security footage, Mr. Walsh, but so far we haven't. Useless. All of you. Trevor watches Alex enter the athletics building across the quad. Not a bruise on him. Not a limp in his step. Like last night never happened. It, too. Has to be him, Trevor mutters. What was that? His father demands. Nothing. Just, I might know who did this. Later, at practice, Trevor gathers his closest teammates. Someone torched my car last night. Holy shit. Brody's eyes widen. You think it was the new guy? Who else could it be? It happened right after we jumped him. That's a serious escalation, man, Chris interjects, overhearing. From a beating to arson? Mind your own business, Martinez, Trevor snaps. Just saying, maybe you should let this go. Whoever did that to your car isn't playing around. But Trevor isn't listening. His eyes are fixed on Alex, who's running drills with mechanical precision. We're not done with him. Not by a long shot. The next few days bring a subtle shift. Alex continues his routine. Classes, practice, gym. He never mentions the incident, but things around him change. Trevor notices an unfamiliar man watching practice from the bleachers. Hispanic, mid-30s, with the hard eyes of someone who's seen violence. When Trevor looks again, the man is gone. A black SUV with tinted windows follows Brody home one night, staying 2 cars behind the entire time, vanishing when he pulls into his driveway. The team's group chat is infiltrated. Someone using the username Escorpi3Norn joins, posts nothing, then disappears before anyone can remove them. You're being paranoid, Brody tells Trevor in the wait room. It's just coincidence, is it? Trevor jerks his chin toward the window. Outside, a man in a suit leans against a car, seemingly checking his phone. That guy has been there for an hour. Alex enters the weight room. The man outside immediately walks away. See? He's got people watching us, Trevor hisses. So what? We apologize? Fuck that. That night, Brody's phone buzzes while he's playing video games. Unknown number. He opens the message. A video shows him entering his house earlier that day. Then a close-up of his mother arriving home from work. His little sister at soccer practice. His father at his office. A second message appears. Stop. Now or disappear. Brody's controller falls from his hands. His phone buzzes again. Another message. Look outside. Brody approaches his window cautiously, pulls back the curtain. A laser sight's red dot trembles on his chest. Chris sits in the university library, laptop open, fingers flying across the keyboard. 3 empty coffee cups litter the table. His eyes are rimmed red from lack of sleep. Come on, he mutters, scrolling through news articles from Texas border towns. His girlfriend, Mia, slides into the chair across from him. You look terrible. What are you doing? Research, Chris says without looking up. Something's not right about Alex. The new guy Trevor's been harassing. What about him? Chris turns his laptop around. The screen shows a Spanish newspaper article with a grainy photo of a teenage boy standing beside a stern-looking man. The boy's face is partially obscured, but recognizable. That's him 5 years ago. And that man next to him? That's Javier Ramirez. Mia's brow furrows. Should I know that name? If you followed Mexican cartel news, yeah. Javier Ramirez runs the Escorpi3 cartel. They control most of the drug trafficking along the Texas-Mexico border. Wait, you think Alex is related to a cartel boss? Chris clicks to another tab. A heavily redacted DEA report. Not just related. That's his father. Mia leans closer to the screen. How did you even find this? My uncle works for Border Patrol. I called in a favor. Chris lowers his voice. The Escorpiethrin Cartel isn't just another gang. They've got politicians, judges, and police chiefs on their payroll. They don't just kill their enemies, they erase them. And Trevor and Brody have been torturing this guy's son? Mia's face pales. They're dead. They don't know it yet. Chris slams his laptop shut. I need to warn them. As Chris rushes across campus, his phone buzzes. A text from Brody. Need help. Something's wrong with Trevor. He's not answering. Chris changes direction, heading toward the football house. He calls Brody repeatedly. No answer. His phone rings. Trevor's number. Trevor? Where are you? The voice that answers isn't Trevor's. Hello, Chris? Alex's calm voice sends a chill down Chris's spine. Where's Trevor? Safe, for now. What did you do to him? Nothing. Yet. A pause. But you know who I am now, don't you? Chris stops in his tracks. Your father is Javier Ramirez. And now you understand the situation. Alex's voice remains eerily calm. Trevor needs to learn a lesson about consequences. He's an idiot, but he doesn't deserve. What I decide he deserves isn't up for debate. The line goes dead. Chris sprints toward the football house, dialing campus security as he runs. No one answers. He tries Brody again. This time, someone picks up. Chris! Brody's voice shakes. He took Trevor. An abandoned warehouse at the edge of town. Flickering fluorescent lights cast harsh shadows across concrete floors. Trevor sits tied to a metal chair, mouth gagged, eyes wide with terror. He's unharmed, but sweat soaks through his designer t-shirt. 3 men in dark clothing stand guard nearby, weapons visible beneath their jackets. They speak quietly in Spanish, occasionally glancing at Trevor. Metal doors scrape open. Alex enters, dressed simply in jeans and a black t-shirt. Gone is the quiet, unassuming persona. He walks with unmistakable authority. Remove the gag, Alex orders. One of the men complies immediately. Trevor gasps for air. What the fuck is this? Do you know who my father is? Alex circles Trevor slowly. I know exactly who your father is. State congressman, real estate developer, friends with the university, president. He stops in front of Trevor. A man with influence, but limited reach. He'll destroy you for this. No. Alex's voice remains soft but fills the space. He won't. Because after tonight you're going to make sure he never hears about any of this. Headlights flash through the windows as a car pulls up outside. Alex nods to one of his men, who disappears, returning moments later with Brody. He's not bound, but follows with the resigned shuffle of a condemned man. What's happening? Trevor asks, voice cracking. Brody won't meet his eyes. I'm sorry, man. They were watching my family. Alex gestures for Brody to sit in an empty chair nearby. I didn't bring you here to hurt you. I brought you here so you'll understand. He pulls out his phone, shows them a video, surveillance footage from the parking lot where they attacked him. I let you push me. I let you hit me. I wanted to see how far you would go. We were just hazing you. Trevor's voice rises in desperation. It's tradition. No, it was cruelty. Alex puts his phone away. In my world, such disrespect has consequences. Alex unbuttons his cuff, rolls up his sleeve. A tattoo becomes visible. A scorpion, identical to the one burned into Trevor's car. My father built an empire through respect and fear. I was raised to command both. Trevor's eyes widen in dawning recognition. Your cartel? The Escorpion Cartel is my family's business, yes. Alex's voice remains conversational. I came here to escape that life, to play football, to be normal. His expression hardens. You made that impossible. One of Alex's men approaches with a metal case, opens it. Inside lies a gleaming handgun and a set of knives. In Mexico, I would already have killed you both. Alex stares at them. But we're not in Mexico. He closes the case without taking anything. So I'm giving you a choice. Walk away from the team, transfer schools, disappear from my life, or he lets the alternative hang in the air, unspoken but clear. My father's connections. Oh, Trevor begins. Mean nothing to me, Alex cuts him off. Look around you, Trevor. Do you understand your situation yet? My men have been watching you for weeks. They know your routines, your girlfriends, your families. Brody looks up sharply. You've been watching us before we even jumped you. Alex nods once. From the first day you targeted me, I wanted to see what kind of men you were. He smiles without warmth. Now I know. The warehouse door opens again. Chris stands in the doorway, hands raised as one of Alex's men ushers him. Inside at gunpoint. Morning light streams through the athletic center windows. The football team warms up on the field, an unusual quiet hanging over them. Trevor and Brody's absence is conspicuous, whispers circulating among the players. Coach Reynolds checks his clipboard, frustration evident. Has anyone heard from Walsh? Or Miller? Silence greets his question. Players avoid eye contact. Unbelievable. First game of the month on Saturday, and my starting quarterback and linebacker go AWOL. He throws his clipboard down. Martinez, you're friends with them. Any idea where they are? Chris shakes his head, dark circles under his eyes. No idea, Coach. Alex sits on the bench, lacing up his cleats with methodical precision. His movements are unhurried, focused. None of the other players sit near him. An invisible boundary exists now, though no words have been spoken. Practice proceeds, the team moving through drills with subdued energy. Alex excels in every position he's tested in. His athletic ability is undeniable. Coach Reynolds watches him with growing appreciation, unaware of the undercurrents. In the locker room afterward, Chris waits until the others have left before approaching Alex. They're really gone? He asks quietly. Alex closes his locker calmly. They chose to leave. Did you? Chris can't finish the question. They're alive, if that's what you're asking. Alex turns to face him. They're transferring to schools on opposite coasts. Athletic scholarships are being arranged. Just like that? My father has connections in many institutions. Chris swallows. Hard. Who are you? Really? Alex's expression softens slightly. Just a kid who came here to play football. Bullshit, Chris challenges, bravery or foolishness pushing him. I saw that warehouse, those men. That wasn't just football. No, Alex admits. That was necessary. They stand in silence for a long moment. What happens now? Chris finally asks. Now? We win on Saturday. Alex shoulders his gym bag. That's why I'm here. And after the season, Alex pauses at the door. That depends on whether there are any more distractions. Is that a threat? No. Alex's voice remains calm. I don't make threats. I make choices. So do you. Meanwhile, across the country, Trevor sits in an admissions office at a small East Coast college. His hands shake as he fills out transfer paperwork. His phone buzzes. Unknown number. The message contains only a photo. Trevor's parents having breakfast on their patio that morning. The timestamp shows it was taken less than an hour ago. In a Greyhound bus heading west, Brody stares out the window, expression hollow. He deleted. All his social media, left his car behind, told no one where he was going. His phone, which he bought at a truck stop with cash, buzzes. A text with a video attachment. His mother pulling into their driveway, grocery bags in hand. Live footage. The message reads, We're always watching. Remember your promise. Game day arrives. Redwood Stadium pulses with energy. Banners wave. The band plays. Cheerleaders perform intricate routines. The announcer's voice booms through speakers. And now, making his first appearance as starting quarterback for the Redwood State Wolves, number 13, Alejandro Ramirez. The crowd's reaction is mixed. Confusion, murmurs about Trevor's unexplained absence. But as Alex takes the field, his confidence is magnetic. He moves with predatory grace, completely in command. In the locker room before kickoff, Coach Reynolds had announced the change with little explanation. Walsh transferred out. Family issues. Ramirez is starting today. No one questioned it. No one dared. The first half unfolds like a showcase of Alex's abilities. Perfect passes, evasive footwork, split-second decisions that leave the opposing team scrambling to adjust. By halftime, Redwood leads by 21 points. In the tunnel, heading back to the field, Chris falls into step beside Alex. "You're making this look easy." "It is easy," Alex replies, "compared to other things. The team's talking about Trevor and Brody. Let them talk. They're scared of you." Alex continues walking. "Fear has its uses. Is that how you want to play this? Rule through fear like your father?" For the first time, a flash of genuine emotion crosses Alex's face, something like regret. "I wanted something different when I came here." He pauses. "Maybe next season." "You're staying." "Football is the one normal thing in my life." Alex's eyes focus on the field ahead. "I'm not giving that up because some privileged pendejo couldn't handle sharing the spotlight." The second half is even more impressive. Alex plays with unleashed skill, scoring 3 more touchdowns himself. The crowd's initial uncertainty transforms into wild enthusiasm. By the final whistle, they're chanting his name. Media swarms the field. Local reporters thrust microphones toward Alex, cameras flashing. "Alejandro, that was an incredible debut. Where have you been hiding these skills?" Alex gives them a practiced smile. "Just waiting for my opportunity." After the interviews and celebrations, Alex heads to the parking lot alone. Chris follows at a distance, watching as Alex approaches a black SUV with tinted windows. The rear window lowers slightly. Inside sits an older man in an expensive suit, his face weathered but handsome, bearing a clear resemblance to Alex. Javier Ramirez has come to see his son play. Words are exchanged in Spanish. A rare, genuine smile from Alex. A nod of approval from the older man. The window raises and the SUV pulls away, followed by 2 identical vehicles that had been parked nearby, previously unnoticed. Chris approaches as Alex watches the convoy disappear. "You ever gonna tell me what really happened that night in the warehouse?" Alex turns, expression once again unreadable. Some things are better left unsaid, and some secrets don't stay buried. They do if they know what's good for them. Alex replies, then smiles, a flash of warmth that makes him look like any other college athlete celebrating a victory. "Good game today, kicker." "Yeah." Chris nods slowly. "Good game." As they walk toward the celebration party, neither notices the unmarked sedan parked across the street. Inside, a man in a dark suit speaks quietly into a phone. "Confirmed, sir. Young Ramirez is establishing territory at the university. The father visited today." He pauses, listening. "Yes, sir. We'll continue surveillance. DEA out."